Greetings and welcome to another Diablo 4 video. Today I want to show you the Shadow Step build, a build which I'm quite fond of, and it's really fun to play, and it's really speedy and you can just zoom around. So let's get right into it. We have basic skills that don't matter, we have no core skills, we have sturdy and siphoning strikes, all our points into Shadow Step, enhanced Shadow Step and disciplined Shadow Step to get more damage. And then the usual passives right here. We got dash to move around faster in between the Shadow Step packs. If you cannot find a pack, then use dash to move around. We have Smoke Grenade for helping out with bosses. Dark Shroud, of course, for survivability. Then Shadow Imbuement with Mixed Shadow Imbuement. Shadow Crash for some CC, as well as Precision Imbuement for more critical strike chance. We got some Cold Imbuement just to up our damage a little bit with a mixed Cold Imbuement and Frigid Finesse, of course. Then Impedus, since we're also using Shadow Clone fully maxed out, as well as Aftermath and Unto Dawn. And then we got the Momentum Key passive to gain even more damage overall. That combined with our gear, which is Air of Perdition, you can also use the Nameless Cowl. I use Air of Perdition because it helps me against bosses. And then the Shroud of False Death, together with Grasp of Shadow, giving us more plus to our Shadow Step. Then we got the Uncanny Treachery, which gives us stealth every time we use Shadow Step in combination with Assassin's Stride, which is really important for this build since you need at least 60% of cooldown reduction for your Shadow Step to have infinite Shadow Steps. And then this also makes it so that Shadow Step is always Shadow imbued and does even more damage, and that's why Uncanny Treachery gives you stealth. And that's also why I printed or tempered damage on next attack after entering stealth on most of these gear pieces. Then I got the Yellow Quack's Rune to help with our preparation specialization, just using our resource for something good, because we're not really using resource with Shadow Step, but we want the preparation to proc off to have more Shadow Clone. Moving on to the weapon, it got the Stolen Vigor. Just makes sense, we are at maximum stacks of the momentum pretty fast. What you want to do here is Shadow Step Cleaves for damage. Ideally it has a triple masterwork on that, but it's very hard to achieve, so I only have 2 times. And then I got the Neo Vex to give me +2 skills when I avoid health damage while fighting. I got this amulet which has the right affixes, but it unfortunately is not ancestral or it has no GA, so you want the Dexterity, Frigid Finesse and Impedus just to help with overall damage. Then Total Armor or maybe Shadow Crash right here, depending on your armor needs, as well as Shadow Step cooldown reduction, which you will need on the amulet and on one of the rings to reach that 3.6 seconds cooldown or less on Shadow Step. Got the Ravager right here, just makes sense, more damage overall. And then Apogeic Furrow here, you're using ultimate very often. You want Dexterity, attack speed, crit chance on your ring, as well as Shadow Step cooldown reduction, and then ideally damage for the next attack after stealth, but I ran out of temper, so I have damage per Dark Shroud Shadow here. Here we have Clandestine to give us more agility skills, and here you want Shadow Clone cooldown reduction, because it also helps with keeping up your Shadow Clone every time. And then we got a Retribution here for more damage against stunned enemies, as well as Vehemence Brawler for more ultimate skill or more damage when you use the ultimate. For the tempers here, you want chance for Shadow Clone to deal double damage. It really pairs up nicely together with Grasp of Shadows and all that I said before, because our ultimate will really help us elevate our damage. For the seasonal Witchcraft Powers, Pyronado, Aura of Siphoning, Hex of Shattering, Aura Specialization, Purging Touch, and Grow just overall to give us more damage, as well as Pyronado really groups up nicely. Then we got Mercenaries, I got Subu, which helps us with lucky hit chance with Ambusher, and also gives us like some healing potions every now and then to help us with unstable elixirs, boost up our damage if we use a potion. And then I got Vajana just for some more attack speed with Bloodthirst. Lastly, the Paragon board is pretty self-explanatory, just everything that is like towards agility, skill, and towards ultimate. So we got fluidity right here. We got cheap shot, headhunter, exploit weakness, control, versatility, dance macabre, no witness, devious, and that's about it. So next up, I'm gonna do a tier 95 pit, and yeah, gonna talk a little bit about what I'm doing there, and then just play through it. The rotation is kind of pretty easy. You don't have to snapshot anything, you don't have to think about anything. In particular, just keep your Shadow Clone up and you just use Shadow Step and then use Call Imbuement whenever possible. So I'm using my Dark Shroud back here, and then just use Call Imbuement to Shadow Clone because we'll reset Call Imbuement even better. And just, you know, use your potion every now and then. You can also use Smoke Grenade for even more damage. Right now we need to get some stacks of Apogeic Furor and to deal even more damage, right? So usually I do pit 90 just for, you know, it's kind of chill. But we can also do pit 90. I don't know why this takes so long right now, but yeah. In the intro I showed you a brief section of a nightmare dungeon, and I think that's where this build really shines. It's like in farming tier 4 content, like nightmare dungeons, like Undercity, like the overworld, currently like the seasonal overworld where you can get a lot of stuff there, or even Hell Tides, because you can really jump around from pack to pack. And of course also a pit level that is farmable, that will insta kill, and not like, it's not really a pit pushing build per se, because if the enemies are not staggered, stunned or whatever, it might become a bit dicey. There's a variant out there that I saw that uses close quarters combat and then tempers for close damage and also daggers and stacks up close damage, and uses like the turf glyph, and I saw it also clears like 95, and it can also clear like tier 100 pit, but I also think I can clear tier 100 pit if I, you know, get a bit better tempers and a bit better items. But that might be the ceiling of this build for now, which is fine because it's more about speed than just raw damage. But you know, I mean, most of the time you will farm world tier 4 and then you can just swap to this build to do so. I'm actually doing a pretty bad job here because again I'm talking through while I'm playing, so it's not optimal. Just jumping around like crazy. I'm also on the controller. Yeah, it's for world tier 4 overworld farming and everything's really good. And I do expect it to be good in Season 8 because, for example, the Neyrelle's power, which is supposed to be really strong, can be used, which activates if you stand still. And technically, if we just use our Shadow Step, we are standing still. For the game, it is like standing still. That's why you can also use the aspect Inner Calm very effectively here, especially against bosses. So it's either that boss power or gonna try some others out. But I'm pretty confident that we will find something juicy in the next season as well. So that's the good news. This is not a strictly Season 7 build. It might be that some of the Witchcraft Powers makes the Shadow Clone stronger, but that's just raw damage, right? It's not really the utility in the Season Powers that is missing next time or next season, so that's a good news. Let's see if we can actually beat the boss. I was using too many potions here, I don't even know. So boss is kind of a mixed bag. Really need to stagger him to do some significant damage. That's why I was a bit concerned about the... Oh, there we go. About not having enough potions, because potions also stun, and that also causes stagger on the boss, of course. But for the most part, and I might be wrong here, I don't have to dodge anything, but I could. That's why, I mean, like, inner calm will come in nicely, right? Because we are effectively standing still. Not really, but you know. Game thinks we're standing still, so okay, we're standing still. Almost in 2 cycles. 2 stagger cycles. And there we go. Got him. Got him, got him, got him. Let's see if we can upgrade. 70% chance sounds good enough. Wow. 4 upgrades. That was a good run. Alright, so that is the build. Really fun, really good at World Tier 4 farming in the overworld. I also expect it to be good in Season 8, even the World Tier 4, which will be harder next season. But as for a speed build, and you don't really need that Air of Perdition, you can go Call of the Nameless, and of course Shroud of the False Death is one mythic that we're using. It's just overall very strong. Not even sure what to replace it with yet, if we don't have the mythic yet, but I need to think about that. Maybe you have an idea, you can put it in the comments below. In any case, thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one. Good luck, have fun, and goodbye.